It's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me
a beautiful morning this morning in the hills of ZINARIYA here in the city of Jos. The weather is a bit cold this morning. There seems to be a turnaround in the weather. The temperature this morning is at 19 degrees Celsius. And of course, if you can hear my voice this morning, it means you're rightly tuned into the frequency meter of Unity 93.3 FM and TV. And it is still that your most anticipated social, political and social economic program on the radio, the Unity Train. Today is the 8th day of November 2024. How fast are the day running? The year will soon come to an end, and I believe that your plans and aspirations for this year are achieved. And if you've not achieved any, then it is not too late. You still have more than 50 days to do something about them. Usually we bring this program to you every morning, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and of course Fridays, every 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. This program, we do it in 3 segments every day of the week. Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and of course Fridays, 8 a.m. to 9:30. The first segment is the segment where we bring to you contemporary issues on newspaper, news headlines. The second segment is that segment where our analyst in the house gives light and educates us more on the information that is all contemporary issues that we have for the day. Then the third segment is that segment where I call your segment. It is your segment because on this segment you can call in and give your input and submissions. And when it is time for you to send in your comments on social media, you can reach us on Unity FM/TV Jos. Then on YouTube we are at Unity TV Jos. When you want to call, you can call us on 070-3235-3315. I will call the number again, 070-3235-3315. The number to send your SMS to is 081-6314-1141. The number for SMS once more is 081-6314-1141. Remember that, like I'll say every day as you go about your business this morning, remember the greatness in humanity is not just in being human, but in the ability to be humane. Bless somebody in the little way that you can, even as you go about your business. Only that way can you prove to yourself that you are human and that you are humane. I am blessed not to be alone in the house this morning. I am blessed to be with an erudite analyst, one whose voice is resounding and echoing throughout the city of Jos and Nigeria at large. She is one that you can wake early in the morning, and if the issue you're bringing to him concerns the progress of this country or concerns the children or the women, he is ready to lend his voice without wasting of any time, or without any waste of time. He is no other person but that voice that you hear every morning on the Unity Train. He is Barrister Paul Saruma. Barrister, it's a beautiful morning this morning.
Michael Pedro, it is a beautiful morning indeed. Good morning, and I hope you are doing well.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, listeners and viewers. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are receiving these signals from. Here in Jos is a beautiful, windy, bright, dusty morning. Jos is peaceful. Thank you for having me once again.
Thank you. You're welcome, sir. So, as usual, we are going to be looking straight into the contemporary issues we have today in your newspaper. And there seems to be a lot happening on newspaper today. The TG News has something that has to do with us directly. It says Saminaka Jos and Saminaka Kafanchan Road, the Golgotha journey of death. This caption.
We spoke about this last time that we had the opportunity to stay here. That road has been dilapidated for a very long period of time, and very unfortunately successive government have not seen it necessary to correct all the bad shape of the roads, and the road has also taken a lot of lives, you know. At times, if you are on that road, you wonder if you are in Nigeria. And of course, it is a commercial way.
A major road,
it is a major road. People from Plateau State used to access Kano majorly through that road.
Yeah.
People from Bauchi, people from Gombe, people from even Maiduguri, they used to access Kano through that road. So you can see how strategic that road is.
It is.
But unfortunately, it has become a death trap. It has consumed so many innocent lives, and the government seems to be doing nothing about it. It is quite unfortunate that we are living with the blessing that God has blessed this country. We still have this kind of road network linking two major cities. When you are talking about Jos and Kano, you know, when Terminus Market was Terminus Market, you know. People used to come from even part of West Africa and to come to. In fact, Terminus was a tourist destination for people even from Western countries.
True.
You know,
True.
You know, so just used to be very beautiful. You know, but unfortunately, we have lost that market. You know, and then it is a great loss for Plateau State. I hope that one day we will have a heart to fix that market. I remember that there is hardly anybody that any part of this world that people have not visited. These are just Terminus Market, you know. I'm telling you, it was when we lost the Just Terminus Market that destination shifted to Kano. When Just Market was Just Market, we are not hearing of Kantinkwari. We are not hearing of Kantinkwari. The textile industry were there, and we're in Kano and Kaduna, but their destination is Terminus straight.
Yes, the production can happen there, but the sales,
but they bring it directly to Jos.
Yes.
But you know, now people from here are going there to buy. You understand? So you can see how strategic Terminus Market was. People from West Africa, our neighboring countries, they will come. Some of them will come sell their items. You know, move. Particularly during this period, you see people coming in from Ghana, people coming in from Togo, people coming in from Cameroon. Some of them will come and plait here, and then when they are going, they will carry some Nigerian items and go back after the season. So Terminus used to be a very beautiful place, and then it will be one of the major source of revenue generation in Plateau State.
Considering the fact that when Terminus was still in good shape, it was one of the major source of revenue for the state. Don't you think it is very, very important that that is made a priority instead of bridges and other stuffs that we prioritize?
Yeah. I said it the other time, particularly when this tax reform bill was introduced to National Assembly. Most of the northern governors were making noise about it, you know. And I said, why can't they? Well, in fact, in as much as some of the arguments are justifiable, but some of the arguments are unnecessary. We are here celebrating flyovers. Go down south and see companies. Most of the sweet we take, most of the biscuit we eat, have been manufactured from those.
Yes.
Check the addresses of those companies. Now go to Aba. Aba does not need to rely on what is coming from what do you call it, from the monthly allocation from the federal government. Aba is self-sustainable as we speak now. Many companies, many factories, in fact, most of the spare parts that we use here are from Aba. There is hardly anything they cannot produce now in Aba. So you can see how the northern, and unfortunately, Michael Pedro, we will come and also talk about security later, particularly with the emergence of this new terrorist group. You can see how we have the north has become vulnerable. I'm telling you, Michael Pedro, we must address the issue of birth control, whether we like it or not. As long as we do not address the issue of birth control in the north, it will keep on becoming a menace. You cannot produce children that you cannot cater for. It is unfair even for these children. And then by the time you produce these children, they become brooding ground for these terrorists. So they become vulnerable. How can brooding ground for all sorts of evil? And then people are progressing down there. Number two, insecurity. Nobody will invest in an atmosphere of insecurity. Most of the companies, factories in Kaduna and Kano, now some of them have moved to Ghana, some of them have moved to Togo, some of them, what used to be Nigerian wax has been converted to Ghana wax now. So, you know, yes, so it's quite unfortunate. So now, can you imagine, you know, the last time I was in Kano, the person I went to patronize was telling me that he just returned from Aba. It was not the case before. It wasn't the case before. So you can see that down south is fast developing in terms of infrastructure, in terms of industry, and while in the north we are still grappling with insecurity. We are still fighting ourselves, ethno-religious, all sorts of attack, banditry, terrorism, ethno-religious conflict, and whatever. We are still grappling with it. And then the north is becoming desolate day by day, desolate in terms of development, desolate in terms of infrastructure, desolate, and now the trend is that building flyovers, building this, building this. You know, if we did not revive industries, if we do not, what has happened to our GIB? What has happened to, you know, I remember Governor Lalong was able to regain Back Farm. But what is happening there? Nothing. That is the question. What is happening there? What is happening? I'm telling you, Back Farm can supply raw material to GIB, raw material to Grand Cereal. But can you imagine, most of the raw materials in Grand Cereal are coming from Saminaka and some other part of the country. True. Where we have all the wherewithal, you know, and then ASTC that was introduced by Jonajan. Unfortunately, it was not sustained by the Lalon's regime. But at least, if you look at, we also have to look at government to be a continuum. You cannot say because I don't like the face of my predecessor, then I cannot sustain something positive that he has started. So you can see, we are here talking about, in the north generally, Adamawa, they just celebrated one flyover, or if you like, interchange bridge. They are talking about the second one. Where is that one taking us to? Where is the glory of schools like Butex? In those days, companies, factories, even across the country, used to request for students from Butex here in PLATEAU.
Those students were very, very good with fabrication and all.
So the glory of that school should be revived. You know, I was in the floor of the House of Assembly in the last year. In the early part of this assembly, a motion of public importance was moved to revamp Butex. But it appears the motion has gone under the freezers. You know, the motion has gone cold. There was no supporting action. And of course, the motion was passed. It was generally accepted that Butex need to be revived. You know, so these are some of the things, you know. Pedro, governance is strategic, governance is deliberate. When I was reading the history of terminus market, when I was reading the history of standard building, I shed tears. I literally shed tears. I could see leadership with vision. I could see purposeful leadership. I was wondering what has happened to us as a people. You know, let me tell you, part of the history of standard newspaper is that when Colonel Akintola visited J.D. Gomok, most of the news, it was a major, they had a major MOU, but most of the newspaper in the Connaught, which were dominating the media, did not report that visit. And J.D. Gomok picked that as a challenge and said, I'm going to have a standard that will set a pace for other media outlets across the north. And he came. He brought in a viable competition. These are visionary and purposeful leaders. You know, today what do we have? Let me give you an example. Before Governor Goje became governor of Gombe State, most of the medical students are from the south. Most of the nurses are from either south or Plateau State and whatever, working in Gombe. And Governor Danjuma Goje said, how do we address these people? We have the manpower. What do we do? And somebody said, start a school of college of nursing in Gombe. And you say, okay, do the research, come up with the proposal. And then before you know it, Gombe, the Governor Danjuma Goje started Gombe State College of Nursing. You know, today, they don't need anybody from any other. They were able to harness their local resources in terms of manpower. And then now they are in charge of their health sector as long as health sector is concerned. This is purposeful and visionary leadership. When Kwankwaso was the governor of Kano State, he also realizes that they have deficit in the area of healthcare. Most of the medical personnel were not from Kano State, and then when this Japan syndrome comes, you will see you go to hospital under emergency, no doctors. Because people have moved to greener pastures. And then he came. There are a lot of deficit when he realized. So when he was sending, he sent thousands of Kano citizens to go and school abroad. That is what we call intellectual espionage. Go and school abroad, educate yourself, and bring
back the knowledge.
Bring back the knowledge. And that was immediately after that project. That's why you see there are certain medical conditions that hospitals will tell you from here in just Plateau State, go to Kano. They will refer you to Kano.
Yes.
Because of the vision and purposeful kind of leadership. You know, leadership is not rocket science. Except we would be telling ourselves lies and be deceiving ourselves.
Very true.
So, you know, Michael Pedro, I am telling you, if everything, most of the things you see, we are talking about collapse of national grid, we are talking about this, all these things still goes down to issue of leadership.
Very true.
You know, once things, look at American election recently, even before the umpire announced who won the election, already head of state of different countries have started sending congratulatory message. Why? Yes. Because the election is transparent. Very transparent.
True. Very
yes,
true.
Any system that is being operated by human being may not necessarily be perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, but at least let there be semblance of transparency. Let there be semblance of fairness. Did you hear any case of ballot box snatching in America?
Not at all.
Why should people? Did you hear a case of police go to disrupt voters in US?
Not at all.
So you begin to wonder if we're in Banana Republic. Why this? You know, this. I must be in that office by all costs. I must be there by all means. This, you know, I must be the leader, whether you like it or not, whether by force or did you know, there was no any violence. There was no citizen. Look at the population of America. No single citizen was killed. No soldiers on the street. No roadblocks. Election was conducted peacefully. And that is what we call a system that works. You know, but when you come to countries like Nigeria, you hear ballot box snatching, late arrival of material, and by now we should have outgrown that. Or somebody, you will see returning officers coming, no official to even receive and announce mysteriously. Election is not a rocket science. In Nigeria, you will see INEC will be threatening you. Nobody should announce result until INEC. Nobody should announce result. Why are they hiding? Why is it that they are saying that they must be the... You know, if it is transparent, if the process is transparent, Michael Pedro, I have worked in the election system. Right from your situation room, you will be able to know who won the election.
Very true.
Because you have your polling unit agent at each of the polling units across the state, for instance. And immediately, those polling unit agents were able to get their own counterfeit copy of the results. And they will just transmit it to your situation room. Right from your situation room, you will know if you have lost or
very true.
But unfortunately, we have a case, the process, you know, is not transparent. And then, you know, it's quite unfortunate that we really have a long way to go. If there is anything less than a third world, at times when you say we are a third world, I feel that we are deceiving ourselves. Yes, we are being promoted because we are, you know. And then if you also look at like this issue of a new terrorist group that they are saying as a match, you are talking about a new terrorist group that has a match. What is our intelligence community doing?
What have you done about the old ones? Because if the old ones are still thriving, then any other person can see that as an opportunity to bring up a new one. See, we've had situations or cases in this very country where terrorists were given pardon, instated into the society, even into the military. What do you expect?
Just about 3 weeks ago, you remember one of the terrorists ran away with the weapons from the Nigerian government.
You can imagine. You can imagine.
So you can see, when we say some of these things is that once you keep on politicizing security, you will not get any serious result. Security should be distinct. Security should be treated as something very important and of touches on the very fabric of the existence of a country. But you cannot come. Do you know that it was last week when some delegation from was it Defense College also visited the state and were hosted by the deputy governor, and he told our intelligence committee and told those visitors, those August visitors, that there were some new terrorist group known as Lukarawa, and that they have dominated about 5 local governments. Were we sleeping? What is our intelligence community doing? 5 local governments. And interestingly, this terrorist group came in from Niger. I was reading the press release by the defense spokesperson, the Nigerian military spokesperson. He was trying to justify that the terrain is blah, 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 that as a result of the coup in Niger, the coup gave room for
don't we have border security?
That it was as a result of the coup that there was a joint border, what do you call it? There was a joint border
like
arrangement. Yes, it was like a task force arrangement in our border. And then after the coup in Niger, our relationship with Niger became frosty. As a result, there was no such. Okay, if there was no joint border patrol, we cannot. Does that justify the fact that we cannot protect our territory? And a foreigner will come, form a group, and then the locals also did not help matter. Because in that press release, he stated that in the beginning, the locals felt that they were good people, and then they hosted them, gave them accommodation, and later on, they became threats to the locals themselves. So, can you imagine? How can a good person come with a sophisticated weapon? And just yesterday, Israeli envoy in an occasion in Abuja, he stated that there are some countries that are actually facilitating and sponsoring some of these terrorism activities in Nigerian territory. So you can see, so you begin to wonder. So as long as I am concerned, the Nigerian intelligence community went to sleep.
Of course,
obviously. They went to sleep. 5 local government for heaven's sake. Is it that we don't have presence of a police station in any of those local governments?
What is the population?
Is it that we don't have any presence of government in this local government? And then, unfortunately, this terrorist organization used to manipulate religion. So when they want to come, they will come in a subtle way. They will come very pious, very self-righteous, in a very religious way. And then, before you know it, you will accept them. And if you accept them, then they become a danger. Now they have the primary victim of that terrorist were those hospitable people that hosted them.
It's very, very
unfortunate. So can you tell me that in those local government we don't have presence of governors? We don't have things like police station? We don't have things like migration offices? We don't have. So how come they were able to?
Services.
Now, if I talk about intelligence community, I'm talking about the SSS, the NIA, the police intelligence, the army intelligence. There is no military or paramilitary that does not have an intelligence unit or department, if you like, depending on the nomenclature that they choose to call it. Now, if you look at all those things put together, you want to say that I must say that they went to sleep. 5 local government. We are not talking about a district. We are not talking about a polling unit. We are not talking about a ward. We are talking about 5 local government being occupied by foreign terrorists.
It's very
unfortunate. Why we are still battling with our own local terrorists?
It's very, very unfortunate. This is an issue that's worth giving serious attention to. I know you're out there and you're listening to the issue on ground. We'll be going on a very, very short break. Keep your fingers crossed and stay tuned to the frequency meter of Unity 93.3 FM. We'll be right back.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune into Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
Please pay attention, it starts from the foundation. War against drug abuse.
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was saying things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead.
Welcome back from that very short break. If you can still hear my voice, it means you're rightly tuned into the frequency meter of Unity 93.3 FM and TV. This morning we have a lot to discuss in the house, and the barrister, in the person of Barrister Paul Zaruma, has a lot to say. Before we went on that break, we were talking about a lot of issues, especially as it concerns you and I and our dear nation, Nigeria. We would want you to be part of this conversation, but even as you do so, the third segment, which is the next segment, is going to be your segment, and would expect that you send in your comments on Facebook. You can reach us on Unity FM/TV. Just then on YouTube, you can reach us on Unity TV. Just if you want to send in your SMS, the number to send in your SMS is 08163141141. The number to send in your SMS again is 08163141141. Then to call in to the studio and give in your submissions and input, the number to call is 070-3235-3315. 070-3235-3315. So you can be with us as we take you on this very ride. We promise it's going to be very informative and educative, and would want you to lend in your voice, like I said before now, when it is time for you to call in. Barrister, sir, before we went on that break, you were throwing light on this issue of the Lakrawas.
Yes.
The Daily Trust has something to say. Let me just read it out before you continue. It says, how Lakurawa members are terrorizing us. Sokoto residents are the ones saying this now. It says groups have imposed laws and fines. They are new, but already they are imposing laws and fines on the people. And then it says SEC members are from Libya, Mali, Niger Republic. Now the defense headquarters are saying we will degrade them. I find it funny that the defense headquarters are saying we will degrade them.
That's why I earlier stated that the intelligence community went to sleep. Because we keep on saying that the world has moved from reactive kind of security to preventive kind of security. So, what is the essence of intelligence? It's to preempt something.
Preempt.
Yes. So you keep on preempting. That is the essence of intelligence. So but in Nigerian kind of security is we keep on reacting when the damage has been done.
The idea is to prevent the damage.
These terrorists, can you imagine, from far away Libya, from far away Mali. And then this Niger, they came here and then begin to impose laws on our citizens.
And it's interesting.
And you will now tell me you have any explanation to justify this? There is no explanation to justify this. And then this also boils down to the fact that the issue of our recruitment process must be addressed. Our recruitment process, most of these people in this intelligence, the other day, Prof was mentioning, said most of our generals are pot-bellied generals sitting in AC in Abuja. Many of them, there are soldiers since they have been recruited because they have one godfather or godmother or whatever. They have never been posted to the battlefield. It's from one lucrative office in Abuja to one lucrative office in Lagos, or they will move them to our military attaché in any of the foreign countries. And then there are some of them that they are only seated there in Abuja waiting only for foreign mission. Foreign mission is usually a special kind of mission. At times, what you get in one foreign mission will be more than your entire savings throughout, because with the economic reality, what would you even say from the salary if you are a corporal or whatever in any of the security forces? So many of them are lobbying to go for foreign mission. There are those who have godfather, they go for almost every foreign mission, but they have never participated in any serious local mission because they have godfather. So you can see that corruption should be addressed within the system. And then issue of politicization of security that we mentioned. Then there are those who have passion for security. Like in my neighborhood, there are a group of people, nobody is paying them anything. Every 9 p.m. they will hit the gong and they will come out. Then every 4 p.m., sorry, around 3 p.m. they will hit the gong and some people will come and replace them. Then they have time, the shift, there is no need to go into the detail. But the point I'm trying to make is that they volunteer. Nobody is paying them. They have their family. They will leave their comfort. Why are they doing that? And irrespective of others refuse to come out, but they volunteer.
Now you can imagine if you recruit this kind of people into the system.
When you recruit this kind of passionate people, we have had cases where you will see police or military telling you that the terrorists have higher power weapon. And we have also have a situation where vigilante will use dead gun and confront these people at the detriment of their lives. What is the difference? The other person have passion and the other person does not have passion.
Very true, sir.
So you can see, when they go for recruitment, the issue of this godfatherism shouldn't be there. Pick the best of the best. I was reading a book, Gifted Hands, by Ben Carson. He said when they were graduating from the college, the defense, American defense will come. Pick the best in physics, pick the best in this, pick the best in that. Are we doing that in Nigeria?
Not at all. Not at all. We have first class
I was also reading
without jobs.
I read another book about Israeli. In fact, Pedro, if Israeli, either the military or the soldiers, they see some qualities in you that you don't want to serve in the military, it is an imprisonable offense. It is an imprisonable offense. So it's just like you For instance, DSS may come and say, oh, Pedro, there is something, you have a gift that we want to work with you. And Pedro will say, no, I don't want to be a DSS staff.
It's a crime.
They will imprison you. I think it's 7 years or so. It's long ago I read that article. So you can see why Israel is top in terms of security. A very small country, very strategic in terms of security.
A little population.
You can also with a very small country with a little population, very little population. But you know, and then Michael Pedro.
That goes to say that the will is placed the manpower.
Michael Pedro, the point I'm trying to make is that Nigerians have the human resources. We are blessed with human resources. Over 200 million people, intelligent, hardworking young persons. But try to go for recruitment if you don't have a godfather. Some people will not even participate in the tests. Some people will not participate in the processes because they have godfather somewhere. They will go there. How can this one produce?
I have somebody.
How can you carry the tire of Keke Napep and put it in a Prado Jeep and expect it to work?
It won't move.
It's passion. That is what passion does.
Very true, sir.
It doesn't
I know
work.
of somebody that went and then after the whole training and everything, he saw his name. But then when they called the name, it was somebody else that came to answer his very own name. He did the training and everything, but he was not the one that was recruited into the system.
So you can see how funny it is in this country. And except, these are fundamental issues we are pointing at. And once it is not addressed, once we did not return to merit, I am telling you, we keep on dramatizing and dramatizing. I'm telling you. And then unfortunately, the corruption has degenerated to the extent that some of these slots are being sold. Bring 500,000 to be recruited. Bring 200,000. Bring 700,000. How about those that doesn't have money? How about those that doesn't have godfather and they don't have money? And by the time you bribe your way into that place, you don't have the passion. Your primary target is to how to recoup that money you spent. Perhaps some of them have borrowed the money. Perhaps some of them have pledged either their land to go there. Perhaps, so you want to go and recoup money that you will, and that is why you see corruption everywhere.
It's inevitable.
Yes, it's everywhere.
Inevitable.
And then all these things we are talking about, it is what corruption can do. And it's corruption that is destroying this country. And it still goes down to leadership. So you can see that, I'm telling you, Michael Pedro, once our recruitment process is not addressed, then Nigeria is just a joke.
But sir, about this newspaper just said this Lakurawas, the terrorist group, consists of members from Mali, Libya, and Niger. This goes to say that our border security is porous. Something is really wrong.
Michael Pedro, this is not the first time that we have been hearing that foreigners are coming to misbehave in our country and go scot-free. Number one, it shows that they have found a breeding ground in Nigeria.
But then how many Nigerians have been killed brutally for minute crimes that are not even as grievous as these ones in other countries? But yet other people will come from other countries and then perpetrate all sorts of evil in our country and still go scot-free. It's unthinkable to know that our government still see this thing as normal. Now we know that these people are not Nigerians. It is a more reason why we should be more aggressive towards this very issue. What's the name of the new
is it Chief of Army?
Chief of Army Staff from is Christopher something?
No, Chief of Christopher is Chief of Defense Staff.
Chief of Defense Staff. I mean to say, something needs to be done. Something needs to be done seriously, sir.
You see, you know, when Nuhu Ribado was appointed the National Security Advisor, that's the NSA, I celebrated. But I am not really getting up to my expectation. Because Nuhu Ribado, in most of the offices he occupied, throughout his, I knew that, yes, they knew what they were doing. They know Nuhu Ribado is going to change the equation. But unfortunately, 1 year down the line, over 1 year now, of being in that office, it appears the
Could it be that the advices he's given when it comes to security is not being put into practice, or he is the one relenting?
You know, has the NSA, the DSS, all the intelligence community under that
him,
office.
yes, yeah.
And then when you are talking about weapons, you cannot acquire weapons for this country without the office of the NSA. So the office of the NSA is very strategic, is very important, you know, and then the office of the NSA need to wake up. It is quite unfortunate that we are where we are today. So a foreigner will come to your country, molest you, harass you, tax you. If you see you have a beautiful girl, he will seize her and marry her, a foreigner. If you have a beautiful wife, he will seize her from you and marry her. And we say it is normal. It cannot be normal.
And come to think of it, the time for him to be more active and aggressive, it's not even when he was.
He has not.
Now Nigeria needs him more than any.
Michael Pedro, they are also, if they see you have a beautiful girl, your daughter, they will marry her. You cannot say no or you cannot say yes. If you have a beautiful wife, they will just take your wife. And you have a child that looks strong, energetic. Do you know what they do? They will just conscript him into the organization without your will. They conscript them. And then we say we have intelligence community in this country. And you will say they did not go to sleep. That is something drastic. We are still grappling with the issue of even power supply. We are grappling with the issue of fuel. We are grappling with the issue of hunger. And now, another external threat is coming in.
Already
something
we have
drastic.
enough. We have more than enough insecurity.
We already have our Boko Haram. We already have ISWA. We already have some element of ISIS. We have some bandits that are isophilous. They keep changing faces, changing names. So many these things that we are still grappling with. Then now, the Lukarawas have now come in again. Can we say we are making progress? Not at all. You can't say we are making progress.
It is not. I don't think it is something that the government should take lightly. Reason being that already we are having a serious challenge with our economy. We should be looking out there for investors to come and invest in our country. But then with the rise in insecurity, it's not possible for anybody to come and invest here. We are having issues with power outage. We are having issues with security, and then our economy is massively retrogressing, and then nobody is coming in to invest, and we are taking things like it's.
Michael Pedro, can you go and, if you have, maybe you have $2 billion, can you go and invest in Afghanistan? You cannot go and invest in Afghanistan. So that is what is happening. And then you know this media is exaggerating some of these things. A friend of mine came from US. When he came to Jos, he said, oh, he thought Jos is a ghost town. Because of the way media. So already some of them are looking at Nigeria as if Nigeria is worse than Afghanistan. But it's not. Our case is not. Our case is better. We are calling on government to do some things drastically. We have all the resources. God has blessed Nigeria with human resources, natural resources. Name all the resources God has blessed us with. But are we deliberately tapping into those resources? No, we are not. Is there also deliberate and strategic plan that we are going to tap to these resources in the near future? No. It appears that confusion has taken over the place.
Sometimes I wonder if we forget that the image we create internally will invariably give the international community a kind of image of who we are. Because sincerely, it is your local policy that determines your international policy, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Now what is happening within Nigeria is what people see outside there. And then the fact that they are not here to actually see that it's the way it's been presented is not the way it is. It's affecting us seriously. So that is enough reason for us to actually do everything possible to control some of these things that are happening. So we don't even have a reason to put on the media negative image of the country. But then the government are so relaxed. The government are not being intentional about a lot of things. Do you think it is because the current government are how do I put it, unaware of this the effect of this very disaster, or the disaster that this very things image can cause us in the international arena.
Pedro, they cannot say they are not aware. If they are not aware, that means it's a failure of governance. What is the essence of the regular Security Council meeting? It's to filter, to get the impulse, to get reports from the intelligence community. What is the essence? Number two, what is the, in fact, there are state council meetings at federal level, there are state council, security council meeting at federal level, security council meeting at state level, security council meeting even at local government level. This meeting are being held. Is it a tea-party meeting where they sip water and collect honorarium and go? Except if it has become a jamboree or a routine.
It's beginning to look
yes,
so that way.
Because if it is not, these meetings is to get intelligence, to get impulse, and nip it in the bud. But unfortunately, the meeting has become jamboree. So when we are talking about government, we are talking about government in general. What were those local government chairmen doing when those people overtook their local government? So you cannot be saying, when we talk government, we are talking about general, local government, state government, and federal government
put together. Yeah.
What was the local government chairman doing? At least if they don't have local government chairman, they have local sole administrator, because they conducted elections recently. So what were they? Were they sleeping when these people came? So what was that local government chairman doing in their own security council meeting? So you can see that the blame is not even on the security alone. Even though in the security council meeting, like for local government security council meeting, some DPOs will be there, some representative of various security agencies in that local government will be there. When you go to state security council meeting, the commissioner of police, the head of different parastatal of that organization, director, DSS, director, all of them, they will be there. Migration, custom, the head that is in charge of a particular state will be there, will be represented.
Don't you think the
so
security will
the question
improve?
is that those meetings have become jamboree.
What's the
they go attend meeting, sip some bottles of swan water, and then eat some chickens, and perhaps take, what do you call it, honorarium, and part their ways. And wait for another meeting to come.
Do you think that the security will increase if we allow for state security kind of system?
It is not a guarantee.
More like a state kind of policing.
It is not a guarantee. It may improve, but I cannot guarantee that.
Okay.
For instance, now, many scholars have said Nigeria is not practicing true federalism. Like my lecturer, Professor Nnamdi Aduba, who taught me constitutional law, we say that we are not practicing true federalism because there are some federal structures that are still maintaining their unitary character. For instance, the police is maintaining a unitary character. That is why people are agitating for state police. Once you have a state police, then the police will not have a federal structure. The fact that we have IG at the top, at the federal level, we have commissioners at state level, does not give it a federal character. But by the time we have a state police, that is when it will give it a federal character. But now the question is that, let's only use one example. We have INEC at the federal level, and we have various state sec at state level. Are the state sec not being manipulated?
Yeah.
Why are people now agitating that we should revert back to INEC to be conducting local government elections? It's because the state secs in all the states have been manipulated, have been hijacked by the state governors. Are you sure that that is why I say I cannot guarantee that if we have a state police, it will also not be manipulated, just like state secs have been manipulated. So once you have state police, the state police can use them as instruments of manipulation, of suppression, of intimidation. They can use them to intimidate opponents. If they can use ordinary state secs that doesn't have weapons to do that, How much of when you have a state police that have a weapon?
What is then the state of what is then the fate of Nigeria if even restructuring is not going to bring about succor?
I am telling you, restructuring is not going to bring any difference. The only hope that Nigeria have is when we have attitudinal change. Attitudinal change in our approach of governance, in our understanding of governance, in our concept of governance. When we have that, let there be sincerity. You remember those people who were sincere. You cannot also say there are no good people in Nigeria. We have them. The testimony is all over, who have tested power and have demonstrated that indeed they are distinguished Nigeria. I keep on giving example with Dora Akunyili. Now, after Dora Akunyili left NAFDAC, do you used to hear the name of NAFDAC again? You understand? When Dora Akunyili, I made reference sometimes here that when Dora Akunyili traveled to Pakistan, they gave her the greatest honor they have ever given any Nigerian head of state.
Yeah, you
because
made mention
of her activities of when she was heading NAFDAC. And when she was information minister,
yeah,
she spoke for the interests of Nigeria. When it was obvious that the president was incapacitated, his media handlers were covering it up. She said, look, Nigeria as a country is at stake here. It's not all about individuals. It's not all about my office. It's about Nigeria. And she came out boldly to say, yes, as a Minister of Information, Mr. President is incapacitated. That's the honest thing. I have seen him. I have evaluated him. I have accessed him. He is literally and physically incapacitated. And that was what paved way for the emergence of a substantive president from having an active president that doesn't have a direction and doesn't know what will happen next, living in suspense, and so on and so forth. So you can see that once we begin to have honest leaders. Ajuri Ngilali just resigned recently.
So, Barrister, we'll be going on a very, very short break. When we come back, you're going to throw more light as to what you have to say. We'll go on this very short break and we'll be back. Stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Unity. Unity TV.
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
Pay attention, it starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way.
It concerns you. It kill love, it kill dreams. It land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you.
That very short break. If you can still hear my voice, then it means you're rightly tuned into the frequency meter of Unity 93.3 FM. And of course, it is still that your radio program, Unity Train. I want to use this opportunity this morning to condole with the family of Pastor James Israel Ejai, who passed recently onto glory. Today happens to be his funeral here in the city of Jos at Rock Heaven. The funeral is going to be taking place by 10 a.m. this morning. We pray that God grants his family, especially his wife and children, the fortitude to bear this loss. May his soul rest in peace. And this segment is your segment. This is the segment where you call in and give your input and submissions, especially concerning the issue on ground. It can also be issues that concerns you and your community. You can call in and give input. This is a platform for you to call in and send in your grievances or your submissions to the appropriate authority, believing that they are listening to you and they are going to respond swiftly. The numbers to call is 070-3235-3315. The numbers to call again is 070-3235-3315. And the numbers to send your SMS to is 081-6314-1141. On social media, if you want to send in your comments, we are on Facebook. We are at Unity FM/TV Jos. And on YouTube, we are at Unity TV Jos. We have our first caller for the day. Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. Hello, can you hear me? We lost that caller, unfortunately. Like I said, the numbers to send your SMS to is 081-6314-1141. And if you want to call, 070-3235-3315. Good morning.
No, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you're calling from, sir?
Yeah, I am Bashir Donkoli.
Bashir
from Jos.
Bashir Donkoli, good morning.
Thank you, Barrister Zaruma. On your unbiased analysis, we are appreciating and we are benefiting.
Thank you, sir.
What I want to contribute this morning, we praise Excellency Governor Khalid Mokwan for his excellent performance, but we still need some maintenance here in Jos, not about road maintenance. We are still looking go to Corona Road linking to Yeshanu. That road is almost terrible again. Go to Dogondibe again, and there is Yanganda, and our bridge there at Yabazanga is at Rich, passing that place. So we need him to put extra effort because the rain has gone. What we need for him is for him to work. Our vote is for him again, next election. Thank you very much. I'm Bashir Donkoli.
Thank you, Bashir Dankoli, for that very input. You have said a lot about that road, and I think it is time for the appropriate authority to put that road into consideration, especially that bridge you also always call to talk about. It means you actually have your community at heart. Thank you for being a good citizen. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Pedro. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. Adeumi.
Thank you very much. You see, my take is really from where Dankoli said. You see, that Unity FM used to give us 50 reports by 7:30. That we don't longer have. Even when Mr. Kudu is there, we don't know what's happening. Honestly speaking, you see, we have the local government autonomy now, and we have had chairmen and councillors. Can you please let us bring back the 50 reports? So that we can report some of the things that are bothering us in our various communities.
Okay.